Life is unpredictable. Some people seem to have all the luck, while others just can't catch a break. Throughout history, there have been individuals who have faced an unbelievable amount of misfortune, often through no fault of their own. From surviving multiple disasters to being in the wrong place at the worst possible time, these individuals have suffered through experiences that would break most people. In this video, we'll see the unluckiest people in the history. Anne Hodges was an ordinary woman living in Alabama in 1954. She was lounging at home when something smashed through the roof, bounced off a radio and hit her. It turned out to be a meteorite. She was the first person in history known to have been hit by a space rock and lived. Although this may sound like something that only happens once in a lifetime, it caused her a lot of trouble. The landlord said it was her property and sued her for it. People were not as interested in Anne's case when she won the court case, so she couldn't sell the rock for any real money. Instead of making her rich, it caused her stress and health problems. Kostas Mitsotakis might not have been struck by a meteorite, but his poor luck was still impressive. He was the only person in a small town in Spain who didn't buy a lottery ticket. The whole town of Sodito won a huge jackpot in Spain's Christmas lottery in 2011, but not him. Each family got a piece of the huge prize, which changed their lives forever. The people selling lottery tickets never did talk to Kostas, who had just moved to the village. He didn't win the big prize, and he was still the only poor person in his now rich neighborhood. Robert Todd Lincoln's life also seemed to be doomed by fate. People thought he would have a good life because he was the son of President Abraham Lincoln, but he became linked to tragedy instead. The first was his father, Abraham Lincoln, in 1865. The second was James A. Garfield in 1881, and the third was William McKinley in 1901. He was there or close by when all three were killed. He finally stopped going to public events with presidents because he saw so much tragedy and thought he was a bad sign. Even though he was successful in business and politics, his ties to these terrible events in American history made him one of the unluckiest people in history. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more updates. Let's move on with our video. James Howells from Wales had the worst kind of bad luck. He lost a fortune because of one small mistake. In 2013, he accidentally threw away a hard drive that had 8,000 bitcoins on it. Back then, it wasn't worth as much, but as Bitcoin's value skyrocketed, he realized his mistake had cost him hundreds of millions of dollars. The drive ended in a landfill where it was buried beneath tons of garbage. James attempted to gain permission to dig through the landfill, but the authorities refused, claiming it was too unsafe. The money was always out of reach, buried somewhere under the trash. Melaine Martinez, a bus driver from Louisiana, had her life destroyed not once, but 5 times. She owned 5 houses over the years, and every single one of them was wiped out by hurricanes. No matter where she moved, disaster seemed to follow. It all started in 1965 when Hurricane Betsy took her first home. Years later in 1985, Juan destroyed another. Every time she rebuilt, another storm came. George, 1998, Katrina, 2005, and recently Isaac. She kept starting over, hoping for a fresh beginning, but nature wouldn't let her. Despite everything, she stayed strong. Even when insurance companies refused to help, she kept going. But losing 5 homes to hurricanes is a level of bad luck most people can't imagine. Yang Kyung-jong's life felt like something out of a war movie. Although he was Korean, he was forced to fight in 3 different forces during World War II. The Japanese first caught him and made him fight for them. Then the Soviets caught him and made him fight for them. After a while, the Germans caught him and made him fight for them too. He ended his bad luck when he was caught again, this time by American troops during the D-Day invasion. His story is one of the oddest and most tragic accounts of a soldier caught up in the war. These individuals had incredibly bad luck in different ways. Whether it was being in the wrong place at the wrong time or experiencing repeated disasters, their stories are both fascinating and tragic. Though their experiences were unfortunate, they remain unforgettable figures in history.